Lamborghini unleashed the Aventador in 2011, the world of fast cars gasped for a moment in disbelief, then leant back and smiled in pure satisfaction. But since then, the atmosphere among the upper echelon of fast cars has thickened, and dynamically the Aventador has struggled to keep up. Which is why Lamborghini has come up with this car, a dramatically more advanced Aventador known simply as the S. It costs a whopping £277,000 and boasts four-wheel steering and comprehensively updated electronic suspension. The 6.5 litre V12 has also been tickled to produce 730 bhp at 8,400 rpm, while the aerodynamic efficiency is up by 50%, with 130% more downforce and less drag, says Lamborghini. And as you can see for yourselves, the Aventador S also looks quite different from its predecessor, with new styling treatments front and rear, plus an unashamed nod towards the countach around its rear wheel arches. In the flesh, it looks sensational, to be honest, but the more important questions are, what's it like to drive, and has Lamborghini done enough to keep the car competitive with its increasingly brilliant rivals from Ferrari and McLaren et al.? So 300 grand's worth of Aventador S. What is it like around the Valencia Grand Prix circuit? I don't know yet, but a few things that it has. I know we've already talked about the four-wheel steering and the new suspension and the new... Actually, no, we haven't talked about the ECU yet, because it's really essential. What Lamborghini have done, this car's got loads of ECUs, but it's got one big brain of an ECU that sorts out everything for all the dynamic parameters. So the steering, the brakes, the throttle map, the gear change, the diff, the four-wheel drive system, the four-wheel steering system, all goes through one big ECU. And they reckon that's made a massive difference to the kind of fluidity of feel and the consistency of response. And I have to say, I have done a few cheeky laps earlier in the wet. It's sort of drying out now, but it's still not fully dry. But they are not telling fibs. This thing, I hate the phrase all of a piece. So let's use the phrase as one. It really does have a lovely kind of rhythmic consistency to the way it does everything, which the old car didn't have. The old car felt like a bit of a fight under a roof, to be honest. This thing, though, it's just immense. I hope you're going to be able to hear what I'm saying. In fact, I'm not going to go too quickly just yet, because, well, listen, there's no way you can hear me above that. Especially if I run it over some rumble strips as well. I've got it in Corsa because we're on a track, so you do. I think it sounds better than the old Aventador as well. I know it's got a few more horsepower. It's up to 730 now, so it's got another 38 horsepower compared with the previous Aventador. But it does seem to sound a bit naughtier. And I absolutely love what they've done to the steering and the response of this four-wheel steering system. There is so much more bite on turning, and at high speed, just extra stability. It feels like a different car. What they say is that the four-wheel steering system has had the subjective impression of shortening the wheelbase by 0.5 metre. And do you know what? That is how it feels. This thing kind of feels like a Hurricane, but with a stonking great V12 engine in it. It feels so much more agile. It's also rather fast in a straight line. Carbon ceramic brakes are standard, they're just awesome. There's lovely feel through them. That's what this car has got, which the previous Aventador never quite had. Feel. The old one was fast, but you kind of, it was a wrestling match. It kind of had steering that didn't feel hooked up to the rear axle, and the brakes were a bit weird. and the throttle would kind of give you bursts of acceleration when you didn't want it. But every millimetre of travel on the throttle on this thing makes a difference, and that's just lovely. It just makes you feel so much more in control of it.
There'll be no restrictions on production numbers for the Aventador S. Lamborghini expects to sell several thousand of them over the next 4 or 5 years, with the USA being the biggest market, Japan at number 2, and interestingly, the UK at number 3. Next time round, rumour has it that the V12 will be aided in its cause by hybrid electric power, much like the LaFerrari. But for the time being, the Aventador S makes do with a conventionally tuned V12. And there is nothing wrong with that. This is, after all, one of the greatest combustion engines of all time. And in this instance, it revs to an incredible 8,500 RPM before the limiter intrudes. And it sounds better than ever thanks to a new 30% lighter exhaust system.
Oh my word. Listen to that. Goodness me, you do need to have a little bit of a word with yourself before you really start to try and drive this thing quickly, especially on a lovely track like this. This thing has become a proper driver's car, not just a posemobile. I'm getting a bit carried away here. You kind of can't help it. I mean, listen to that.
So that is the Aventador S, and what an utterly incredible car it has become. Much improved dynamically in every way, it also looks better, sounds better, and goes harder than ever as well. But it's the step up in handling sharpness that really defines the Aventador S. It is now good enough to compete with the very best, and to be honest, that represents a huge improvement. So well done, Lamborghini. And we'll have more of this in the future, if you please. Click on the video windows to watch first drives of the Aventador SV or the Hurricane LP 582. Click on the play icon to watch our latest video, or on our logo to subscribe.